Hi, my name's Mark Anthony DuBose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, we gotta go on a walk and talk. Today I want to talk about this reactivity stuff a little bit. Something to get someone thinking a little bit in a different way and different understanding. And the main thing is, the main focus needs to be, why is the dog doing this? What is causing the dog to, when I'm speaking of reactivity, I'm speaking on the most simple, basic sense of the dog is barking at another dog when it's on leash. The dog is barking at another person when it's on leash. Why is my dog barking at stuff and people when it's on the leash? And then, best case scenario, the dog isn't doing it when it's not on leash. When it's off leash, it's perfectly fine. But worst case scenario, the dog just can't be around people or dogs, period. And we really need to start asking, why is the dog doing that, to figure out what to do in that matter. This is where, when you're having a dog like this, when you have a dog like this and you're trying to go on YouTube, for instance, and trying to get some help with them, things can get really iffy, because it does come down to a individual, case by case, dog by dog, human by human type game plan to be able to get you, to be able to get what it is that you're looking for. Because if the dog is, say, excitable and it's reactive, so it's barking and barking and barking, and in reality, when you see it, it looks the same. To the average eye, when you're seeing both of these dogs, a dog that's fearful and scared of another dog barking at a dog, compared to another dog that's super excited and it's just been getting the reward history of being excited and barking and barking and barking and barking, it looks super similar. So if you're not asking, why is my dog doing what it's doing, more than likely, unfortunately, in most cases, whatever you're doing is what's constantly going to keep making it get worse and worse. And that's where it can get in the part of where I would say is dangerous, with trying to just take someone's advice online and just say, oh, I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and try this. This dog trainer said to do this, so it worked for that dog, and that dog looks like my dog, so everything is going to work. And that is just not the case. Because each way is, well, I'll say, an excitable dog that's reactive is like, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 1 compared to a fearful dog that's doing the same stuff. That's like more of like a 8, 9, 10. Because these dogs that are fearful, it's not just so easy to just say, hey, stop being scared of that, buddy. And a lot of dogs that are fearful, or a lot of dogs that are meant to be fearful, we're breeding them to be fearful so that they do a purpose for us, such as guard and protect, such as this German Shepherd, such as Rottweilers, such as Dobermans, such a lot of these dogs, such collies, lots of these dogs. We've been breeding them specifically to be suspicious and weary of strangers. We've been breeding them specifically to be weary of other dogs that come around. So now that we're integrating them, in my opinion still, fast tracking them into our society where we are, and not allowing the dogs to be able to get that DNA out of them, that gene pool out of them, it's creating a big, huge havoc for a lot of people. Because we have dogs that were bred to be straight up fearful. Whereas there are other dogs that are bred to be more dominant in a way, where we'll use those in a sense of the police and the military type dogs. But as far as the everyday farming, working pet dog, these dogs are scared already. And we can't just say to the dog, oh, just stop that. It's okay. There's nothing to be scared of. I get it. That's language that we like to use with the dog. We see the dog start to freak out. We get down, we start petting it, we start coddling it, we start sweet baby talking it, saying, it's okay, everything's fine. But that's not what dogs represent. You can't do that to the dog. The dog in reality is going to, unfortunately, just get worse and worse and worse the more that you keep doing that. Whereas, like, even an excitable dog, I would say you might get some success by doing that. You might get some success by giving the dog a treat that's in an excitable stance. But when it's fearful, and most people aren't struggling with the dog that's excitable, that's reactive. Most of those dogs, you could just look at it, say no to it, and the dog literally can stop. If you can effectively just look at the dog and say, hey, no, knock that off, stop doing that. And the dog's like, oh, okay. But the scared dog, you say no, knock that off, don't do that. It's not gonna go too far. And worst case scenario, which best case looks for you in the short term, the dog stops doing it, and it's not stopped doing it because it's, say, got through its fear. It's just now got another layer of fear on it that's more powerful than that fear in that moment. What always happens is that starts to fade away and starts to lean away. And that's the concept with a lot of people that you're using a lot of, say, equipment and stuff to try to get your dog to stop doing something. And that's where you start. Oh, I start with the slip leash, and now I need the prong collar, now I need the e-collar, now I need the what is a good one, a dominant dog collar. You start to just keep upgrading to all these things, and then just why isn't it going anywhere? Why isn't anything happening? Because the dog is initially nervous of, say, that piece of equipment, but then that piece of equipment, the other dog, for instance, starts to still become more scary again, because it's a huge fear inside of them that fortunately, but unfortunately, we have been breeding into these dogs. That's why I don't want to get into breeding and stuff, because we already got a lot of dogs out here. But if someone needs to get into breeding these new dogs to be what I would say is city dogs, we need to breed that guardedness out of them. We need to breed that protectiveness out of them. We need to breed that fearfulness out of them. And then we're going to start to have some really, really nice dogs. German Shepherds that are just born and raised to be ready to be on the city, in the farm, in the city, in the suburbs, just perfectly fine. And they're going to have no response to anything, because that's just their normal life. But we don't do that. And there's some people that breed them that way. So we have some that seem to be okay, but most cases they're not. So the biggest thing is, we can't just push the dog through the fear. We could put the dog in a surrounding in the fear, but we have to allow the dog to be able to get through that fear on their own. And that's where each dog is its own individual. One may get over something in 15 seconds. The other might take 15 or more months. So this is something that I've just been really noticing with my German Shepherd here. He's always had issues with, he didn't really bark at people that much. He was more excited about the people. When I first got him, he would be barking at people, but he stopped that pretty quick once he started seeing other dogs out on the trails and out in public. The focus went completely away from people, and it went straight to the dog, because people would look at him, and he learned really fast. If I look at you basically tough, the human just looks and walks away. It wants nothing to do with him. So he's like, okay, I could basically like assert my power over that human to get that human to just get the heck away from me. And so that worked. But as far as the other dogs, it didn't work. And then unfortunately, he's been, I don't want to say the word attacked. Well, it was pretty crazy looking. Many crazy instances happened with this dog, with other dogs running up to him and just messing with him. Even dogs that the owner is walking up towards me, like on a trail right here. The owner's walking up towards me, because I had this boy on leash at first for a really long time. And I could see that the dog is it's like super chill. It's super friendly looking, but it would always just come over and just nip or do something or snap or growl or do something to my dog. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? So I was always nervous of letting them meet dogs, because I'm like, man, even the friendly ones are trying to come up hostile to my dog. What the heck is going on here? So the main thing that I started to really realize with this is, my dog is just scared of other dogs, and he doesn't know how to interact, and doesn't know how to do, doesn't know how to be, doesn't know how to do anything with them. Because that was the weirdest thing, is when I have him at the house, even interacting with my other dogs. He doesn't, even this Dalmatian, she tries to get him to play, but his play is like, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to act, how to be, how to make nothing happen with another dog. And in reality, that's kind of how what shepherds are. They just play, they work with their family unit, and everything else is kind of just suspicious danger. So I just been studying this boy. And after a while, when I started to just be able to get him to be around other dogs without having to bark or growl or grumble or dance and do anything, then I started to allow him to, certain dogs, not all at first, but certain dogs, he would want to walk over towards them and see them. But me at first, of course, I'm terrified, because I'm like, I've already seen crazy stuff happen to this dog, so I don't want him to meet a dog, and it just ends up into a tiff. But it never got, for me personally, it never got anything that's just like extremely crazy. He's been bleeding a few times, but there's nothing that I needed a $4,000 surgery and had to put him in the hospital. But there's certain dogs, so like say, I'd say 1 out of 50 range. So basically every day I'd find probably one dog, and that one dog, he would look at him differently. He's like, hey, how you doing? Every other dog, he's wanting to bark at, he's wanting to go crazy, he's wanting to be savage, he's wanting to be wild. But there is always that one dog, and I was like, let's just walk you to get closer to him so you can sniff him, or her, whatever it was. For him, it's mainly he's kind of a girl crazy dog, but mainly the females. Like, so pretty much every female dog today, he's cool with. He still looks at some male dogs like a little weary, suspicious, but he's cool with being around them. He just doesn't like to really play with boy dogs, but he'll run and chase and play with female dogs. He's a very, I guess it's kind of a shepherd thing in reality with a lot of them. I hear about that. But I let him meet that one dog. And then through time, it turns into 2 dogs. In time, it turns into 3 dogs. In time, it just keeps going more and more and more, to the point that he got to the situation of like, now he knows, if I want to meet this dog, cool, I will. If not, then I'm just on my way. Because every day there's probably 1 or 2 dogs still at this moment today that when we're on a walk, he's just in this, I want to get out of here. And I pay attention to that with him. He literally will start to like want to get out of here. He'll walk faster and walk harder and walk stronger. And I'm just like, okay, let's get out of here. Let's not mess with this dog. Let's just leave. Because most people, if the dogs are cool, I just stop and, Ophi, get out that backyard. Let that dog, I think there's 3 dogs in that house there. They bark like crazy. That's gotta be hard to live on a back trail like this, because random people are just walking by here and there. And then dogs are probably peeing on that fence because it's one of those see-through fences, and the dogs are probably like, oh my goodness, something else is trying to take my territory. It's gotta be hard living for a dog like that. That's why that's where certain breeds would be better for certain circumstances, living in houses that are so close to each other. Soon enough, they'll all be good. But the main thing I started noticing with this boy is he tries to get out. So in those ones, I just stop and I leave. I keep on walking. But the other ones, some people, the dog is just like, hey, we're all fine. So I'll just stand there and talk and say hi. And if he sniffs it, they sniff it. They sniff him, they sniff him. And then we move on. So the main thing here is, I've noticed, the fear isn't disappeared. He's just knowing how to deal with it better now. And that's one thing that I think a lot of us get confused with when it comes down to this reactivity stuff. Thinking that you should be able to, like, the word is going to be fix it, and I should cure it, and it should never be there anymore. We can get to the point that things can start to get like there's no reaction look to it. But as far as it comes down to like pretty much anything with all of us, something that you're terrified. You can't use it in the sense of something that you're just a little scared of. It needs to be something that you're super scared of, that you're going to make a huge reaction. So for instance, I mean, it's something with me, mice and rats. I now am able to tolerate them when I see them. I no longer just like run and just like, oh my goodness, and grab the broom and trying to shoo it away. But at first, I don't care where I would see one of these little suckers. I don't know why. They're actually kind of really cute when you really get a good close view of them and see them. They're really adorable little things. But I was just like, oh, heck no. Like my body just instantly did a reflex and I didn't even get a chance to think. It just happened. And something like that in your life that you got going on right now. So if it's a snake, if it's whatever it is, you see it and your body just reacts. It goes straight to you're running away or you're trying to fight it. There's stuff like that in our lives that all of us have, that you got to put it in the sense of that's the equivalent to what your dog is doing. Your dog is that terrified that it's reacting. It's doing a response and it's not even thinking it through. At some point, if you expose yourself, so for me, at this moment today, when I see these little rats outside running around, I get to actually see them a little bit because I'm not like running from them or scared or doing nothing. So they're not on a scurry to try to just run away. And I'm like, if y'all just stay out of my feed, y'all can stay here. I don't care what you do. There's something that y'all are here for. And I'm going to figure that out at some point. But at first, I'm just on this rampage. And now I see it and I still get this little like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But it's not enough to get me to react, because now I'm starting to become a little bit more indifferent to it. Excuse me. Will I ever in my life get to the point that I'm perfectly, just completely over it? Hopefully. But that's something that only time will be able to tell. And just doing it over and over and over and over again. That's the only way that we're going to be able to get to a better place with it, as opposed to constantly keep on running or constantly keep on fighting against it. Sorry, this got to be hard living right here. Ophi, come on. It's a little poodle thing. They got a little chicken back there with them. It just looked like we're Buffington Orphingtons with they got a little Chihuahua, a little poodle, and something else out there. That's pretty cool. But at some point you may get to this, everything is perfect with it. So because I'm pushing myself more, say with these rats and with these little things, at some point I may just look at it, I'll pick them up and let them run around on my arm and do something. And I'm just like, oh, y'all is just the cutest can be, and everything is perfect. That's the game plan to be able to get to. But as far as just sometimes, some things, some stuff, we may not react to it in that same way that we used to, but it still gets your blood going a little bit. it gets you a little excited. You may not respond, but you definitely have this little bit to you that just your heart starts to go, your sweat gets going, something happens that it's not that you're perfectly, say, cured or healed from it. The only way to be perfectly cured, I don't think there's any way, there's no perfectness in this planet. And I think that's what a lot of people are trying to represent, that if you do this to your dog, it's going to be fixed, and no matter what, the dog isn't going to do anything anymore. That's not real. That's like marketing gimmick lies that a lot of people are putting out here. And if they're stating that, then for one, you got to be able to prove that. And there's not many people that can actually prove such a thing, that the dog was scared, reactive, and all of a sudden it's just everywhere and it's good to go and it never has a response again in its life. That's not real life. Real life is, there's going to be times that the dog is going to be startled for a moment. So you could be walking your dog perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Everything is grade A, and then all of a sudden, a dog just comes right out of the middle of nowhere, like a lot of city blocks are set up like this, especially if you live in a place where there's a lot of big houses and big buildings, that you're just walking on a path, and all of a sudden, like 5 feet in front of you, someone is in that intersection that you're at, and a dog just shows up. Your dog is going to have this like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But the main thing is, you want to be able to have more and more and more the word may not be right here, but more and more training with that dog, being able to know what to do with that feeling before you even get into a scenario like that. So if that scenario does happen, your dog may like give a little like you'll feel it. I don't know how to say this, but it's just me personally. I can literally feel the heart rate of my dog starting to raise when he starts to get nervous about something. Like he'll start to raise, but he's not going to do anything about it. He's going to look at that, assess the situation, and say, oh, okay. Well, I don't need to do anything because there's actually nothing going on here right now. So then you just get to be able to move right past that. But something like that up front right away, that's where things get weird, because when the dog will start to bark, the first thing that we do is start to yank and pull and do stuff and do this madness on these collars, or try to soothe the dog or try to do whatever. And in reality, that's only just constantly making it worse and worse and worse, not allowing the dog to be able to just get through it on their own. So the big thing that I'm just really noticing is just a lot of people are, I get it. You're scared. You don't want your dog to meet something because you're seeing that it's acting crazy. And this is the part that, huge. This is the main thing. This is my main business that I'm starting up next, is basically just going for a walk like this, and let's bring more dogs out. You think your dog is reactive? Let's get them out here, get them exposed. Let them walk past those fences with the dogs barking. Let them be in a place that other dogs are basically going to help guide that dog to be able to, left or right? We're going left. To be able to guide that dog, to be able to realize nothing, it's not that serious. It's okay. Like, calm down. Because like a year ago, this dog with them dogs back there barking at him, this boy would have been fence fighting, right? He would have ran, he would have ran right to that fence, running back and forth, and just been an absolute fool, just going absolute crazy. So now that he doesn't do that, he's the one to bring the next dog that's going to do such a thing along to say, hey, it's not that bad. And day after day after day after day after week after month, it starts to just become a normal thing. So that the dog that used to be scared of a dog gets to actually be around a dog for the first time. And then the second dog that it's able to be around, it's like, well, this isn't so bad anymore. And then the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and the seventh. And at some point, they're just going to say, hey, I'm cool with most all dogs, but that dog, I don't know about that one still. Just keep me away from that. But then it starts to become cool with everything. And it's no longer this weird system. Because that's one thing that, unfortunately, and this is just life. And this is the part that, how I speak of this even concept here goes completely against the positive only, force-free type message. Because if my dog is scared of something, I have to get them around it. I have no choice. I gotta push them and get them to be around it. That's the only way that the dog is gonna get through it. And the dog needs to get through it on its own. I can't sit there and put it next to another dog and just keep giving it treats and keep petting it and keep doing things to it. I need to get the dog around what it's scared of. So the more that it's around, come here. Come here. Kai, come here. Hold on a sec. Sorry, that was just a perfect example right there. Nice big, man, he looked like my Johnny man. Just more, my Johnny man is tall and skinny. He was tall and just big dog, big shepherd looking dog. But the more and more that the dogs are able to meet and be around the dogs, the easier and easier and easier it gets. The situation that just happened back there, my goodness, a year ago, we would have had an issue with the dogs meeting with other dogs. And And that's something it's allowing the dog itself to be able to get through it. And in most cases, unfortunately, this is the biggest thing with like most all dog training. If your dog is scared of another dog and is barking and it's reactive and all this stuff, they're like, oh, keep the dog away. And like never allow the dog. Let's go this way, guys. I think so. Yeah, this way, guys. Kahi, Hofi. We're not taking it. We're going for a walk today, guys. We got like miles to go. They're like, oh, let's take the short way back. We're gonna take the long way back. But a lot of the trainings like says, keep the dog away from all dogs and keep the dog away. Never allow the dog to be around them. When you see the dog, just run away and don't allow the dog to be able to get anywhere near another dog. That's the part that is just in reality making it worse and worse and worse. It's getting to the point. That's where the lens, this is the part with the lens that I want people to understand here. The lens of the dogs at the dog park that are like trying to get into the park that are looking reactive is because they're excited, not because they're on the fearful side. And once you can get the dog to be into that excited stance to meet other dogs, I'm telling you, it's much easier to guide a dog through that than when they're fearful. But the biggest thing is we're always like being told, never allow your dog to meet a dog, never allow your dog to do this. And the main problem behind that is we're not allowing the dogs to actually go through their fears. We're reinforcing to them that it is scary and you need to be nervous and you need to be on edge, and it just makes things worse and worse and worse. And that's something that it's really unfortunate. It's something for me that how my dog is today here, the Kahi, he's the one that's fearful. He still has a little bit in him. He's just a little suspicious. But at this moment today, he's able to meet pretty much 100% of dogs. There's always that one weird one here and there that is just like barking in his face, and he's just like, little man, and it's usually a small dog, unfortunately. And he's just like, little man, let's get, I gotta get out of here. I don't want to deal with this. And I don't know what it is. It's usually these tiny dogs. Like when I'm talking little, I'm talking like 5 pounds and below, these little things. They're just barking at him, and he's just like, I don't want nothing to do with this. But pretty much every other dog, he knows how to handle himself at this point. Because there's some dogs that come to him that kind of like, I'm the boss, I'm telling you what to do. And he's like, cool, man, whatever, I don't care. And then there's other times that he's like, I'm the boss, I'm gonna tell you what to do. And they're like, oh, cool, man, let's go on. But it's nothing that is like outside of dogs being dogs, of just being with each other and playing and interacting with each other. It doesn't turn into nothing that's like weird and hostile and aggressive and just savageness. It just turns into fun play. And when they decide, I don't want to play with you, I don't want to interact with you, okay, let's just walk off and walk along, and everything is fine. But he definitely still has a little bit in him where he hesitates a second. Because like back there, he just hesitates. He's like, what's this dog doing right here? Why is he on, basically, the only way I can look at it is, why is he on my trail? Why he in my space? Get this dog out of here. I don't want this dog around me. And then I got to let him know, like, buddy, this isn't your world. The world is to be shared with all of us. And that's something that we're trying to, in reality, take out of these dogs. A lot of these dogs, they have this fearful in them because we wanted it, to make sure that they can keep the said potential threats away from our house, to keep the potential threat away from the land, to keep them out of our area, to keep them out of your car, and to keep your stuff safe. Because a dog like this sitting in your car, no one's going to be stealing your car. like that's the beauty behind them. And the beauty behind them, when they're actually like not scared too much and they're able to do what they need to do, they're going to be able to protect your house the correct way. They're not going to just be barking and barking and barking and barking. They're going to be nice and quiet and silent and wait until that person comes, open that doorknob up, and that dog's going to come get in his face and say, hey, buddy, get out of here. I don't want you to be here right now. And it's going to be I'll say it, a more gentle experience, as opposed to the dog just freaking out and running away or trying to go in and trying to bite and trying to do anything. A confident dog doesn't need to bite a person or even another dog. They can give them a look, and that look is enough to be able to get what it is that they're looking for. That's why working with a dog that is like exceptionally headstrong, dominant, just a sound quality dog, they're going to be much easier in a sense of convincing them not to bite stuff, because it's not what they want to do. They know that's last. They don't need to go that far. They just look at you. And that's much different than a dog that is scared and biting. That dog that's some super sketchy stuff to try to deal with. But the main thing is they need to be able to be around their I guess the word to say is their triggers, their fears. The more that they're around it, the more that you're looking at the situation as, oh, there's nothing to be worried about here. Everything is fine. The faster that they start to become that. And the more and more and more that you put them around it, the more and more it just starts to become just normal, and it doesn't really matter. Because the more I play with my rats at the house, I'm trying, this may be messed up, but I'm trying to actually catch some of them and use them for how do I explain this? They're really good at food scraps, like basically cleaning up the land in a way. They'll eat anything. I mean, they eat anything. They ate some old grease that I got from my fryer. They ate and drank all of that. So I'm like, man, that'd be kind of cool to be able to use these guys to be able to take care of this odds and ends of things that I don't know really what to do with. So I'm trying to catch some to get my experiments going with them. So I'm trying to get myself to be cool with them. And the more and more I do that, the less that my I guess I could say, like, that anxiety, that weirdness in me starts to go off. Because I don't know if y'all seen, like, I know they got them big old rats in New York, but the ones that I got here, they are big. My goodness, they're big. And they weigh like 5 pounds or so. They're big. They're just like creepy, and they're so fast, and they run in the trees, and I'm finally just getting through that fear, getting through that issue that I have about it. And at some point it'll be normal. And that's what I've done, the same thing with this dog. I'm putting him around the dogs that he's scared of. And the more and more and more, he's like, oh, okay, cool. Because at this point today, you'll let anybody pet him. He doesn't care about people today. If they're willing to pet him, he's like, hey, what's up? I'll let you pet me. Because he knows I don't know what it is, but with humans, he knows how to tell them no compared to the other dogs. And that's the part with the pushiness of dogs that I'm saying that messes up a lot of us when we're trying to help our dogs. We're putting our dogs around a dog that is really pushy in a wrong way, thinking that dog's going to be able to help out. Not every dog is able to help out your dog. Certain dogs are going to be able to help you get there faster, and then you'll be able to say, the dog training word of proof, your work with a dog that is like kind of a little wild and a little crazy. And in that sense, you'll be able to get them around whatever you want at that moment, because then the dog will be able to know, if I'm scared, I don't want to meet this person, let me just walk away. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and meet. And you put it on the dog. The dog be able to get that choice, and that's what allows the dog to be able to just get through it all. Thank you. What's up, girl? So my Dalmatian, primarily, there's been a huge change in her. And I don't know, like the past couple of weeks, I've been noticing walking out here. She primarily, I don't know why, but she primarily just stays behind me when I'm walking now. But if I'm running, she's ahead. She's like, it's so much fun. It's gonna be hard to get video of me and her running together. I gotta find someone with a bike that can record. But if we're running, she's ahead, like running and running and running, doing shit. But when we're walking, she just stays back here, and she sniffs stuff and walks around. She barely just she rarely just takes on off and just keeps on going ahead anymore. It's a pretty interesting thing that I'm seeing from her. Plus, the new thing that she does now is she sniffs. When I first got her, she never used to sniff anything, but I believe that was because her brain was so crazy of like trying to find everything to chase, that sniffing was like last on her agenda, because her brain was like, oh, where's the squirrels at? Where's the deer at? She's just like on a rampage. But once she let all that go, mainly once I gave her that chase to get all that chase out, now she's like, oh, I just want to smell stuff. So she just loves to just walk and smell and sniff and smell everything at this moment. She's turning into kind of how Kahi is, of just wanting to smell stuff. It's pretty neat. And soon enough, all that'll settle down from her. She's just gonna walk and be and chill. That's the difference between Kahi. His whole world is to smell stuff. So this is his outlet. I don't really try to, this may not be the right word, but this is the way that I look at it. On my walks with him out here, this is his time to do what he wants to do. And I'm not trying to like, don't smell this, you can smell this, don't do this. This is his time to just get out what he wants to get out, so that he can be able to just settle into the world. And it does an amazing thing. It's the coolest of the coolest.